7.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Fantasy Fullback Dive, brought to you by the good folks at the Roto Street Journal, paving your way and acting as your lead blocker to fantasy glory, excellence, titles, and everything in between. I'm your host, Nat the Truth Jones. With me, as always, the Wolf of Roto Street himself, here to do another Baked Best Ball Classic. And I'm rushing a little bit because the draft's actually already started, and we got a 45-minute cap. So as much as I'd like to do my lengthy preamble, I'm actually just going to cut right to the chase. How you doing, Wolf?
I'm doing fantastic. I apologize for us having to rush through it tonight, but got a quick date in before the Celtics. Huge game tonight. Let's friggin' go. And as you said, normally I hit like enter draft and it's waiting 5 picks or so, 5 more to fill. And bam, I was the last one in. And we are just locked and loaded right from the start, folks. So no wait. The draft had just kicked off. We are pick 7. So as always, we'll be drafting and talking about some football while we do it. Today, the focus
and some other stuff.
And yeah, of course, that's the what you probably hopefully here for is the other stuff. Pick 1, Jonathan Taylor. As you guys come on in that thumbs up button, you already are starting to hit it without us even asking. I love to see it. Thank you again so much for being here. As I kind of hinted at, we will be talking running backs, targets, fades, strategy, all that good stuff, while mixing in just the typical baked talk. So, Truth, I'm going to pull in the draft here.
Yeah,
like I said, it is going. And as this is coming in, what are you on? What was your choice tonight?
I went back to what we did in the first episode, actually, the orange cake kush. Because remember, it made me, it said makes you focus, and you focused and euphoric. And I was like, well, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Perfect.
One last week was good too, but it was, maybe a little more of a lethargic feeling. And this is more just kind of like, yeah, man, I'm locked in, but I also have a lot of weird like ideas going on in my head.
Perfect. Oh man, I love that. Now we're on the board, 7, and then we'll get into. I want to react to everything you just
and
said.
I'll just tell you right now, I would take Austin Eckler here.
I know you would, and this is a running back show. But what I'm going to do is I'm taking Jefferson. He never falls this far to 7, and I think he's the clear number 2 receiver to obviously Cooper Kupp, our guy. I think he's going to be playing in that Cooper Kupp role with Kevin O'Connell coming over from the Rams now, coordinating the Vikings. And he typically goes top 4. So you never see this. And I think running backs fall a lot in Underdog. So yes, this is a running back show. We probably should have started with a running back. In my big board, Eckler and Jefferson are neck and neck. I might have Eckler actually higher. I'm with you. I might have gone him, but you just don't see Jefferson fall this late. And that's a way to get unique is when you see a player like this falling. So long preamble. Are you killing me over Jefferson after what you just heard?
No, you're like Bill Simmons when he has like one of his buddies on and they do gambling bets, and the Simmons will like suggest a bet, and then the guy's like, nah, I don't agree, and here's why. And Simmons is like, okay, but we're gonna do it. And like,
right, exactly. Yep.
It's like, I'm the one that has the mouse. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, you're in my world now. Oh man. So yeah, on a running back show, we'll probably go Mike Evans round 2. I figure that would probably be the most.
Oh yeah, sure.
But no, I do you think I'm insane for thinking Jefferson's the clear-cut wide receiver 2 in fantasy, or would you have it?
So it's one of those things where reflexively, I don't think he is, but you've crunched the numbers and looked at it a lot more than me. I'd have to look at the list and really think about it. You also know I'm generally speaking, I'm anti-Cousins, and that tends to color my opinions on stuff like this. And it might, since it's fantasy, it might not be reasonable that I am so anti-Cousins. Jefferson's obviously a great talent.
It's fantasy.
Who seems like I hear you.
That's the key. It's stats. Cousins might suck real life. Do I think he's ever winning the Super Bowl? No. He's always going to piss himself in a big game, but can he rack up 5K yards this year in a new scheme? I think so.
Maybe. I mean, I also feel like he's been around long enough where the guy could fall off a cliff at some point, even beyond like the loser that he is. It's not like every year I'm like, oh, I can really bank on Kirk Cousins. I don't think you're crazy. I'd have to look at it before I could really dispute. I mean, clearly I like Kupp more than him. I'd have to look and see who else is there and their situations and stuff like that all in front of me. Off the top of my head, I can't call you too much of an idiot. Speaking of big time receivers, what do you think of? All right, let's make our pick.
We got to make our pick. I like either Aaron Jones or Kamara. Any preference between the two?
I'd probably lean towards Kamara, although,
Yeah.
gosh, I don't know, man. I was disappointed with a lot of that stuff last year.
I know if there is a risk, I'm going to go Aaron Jones. I'll tell you a couple reasons. Case in point, we should bet this. I'm going to, you guys like Kamara? Okay, we're going to go Aaron Jones.
Fair enough.
But there's a couple reasons why. Is one, there is the potential lingering suspension of Kamara. In a vacuum, I do have Kamara.
To be fair, I forgot about that.
Like he did beat some dude this summer, and
All-Star weekend, right? Or the Pro Bowl?
Also, yeah, exactly. Two, I've seen Kamara, as we're seeing right now, fall sometimes to round 3. So like there is a non-zero chance Kamara does fall to us here. Whereas I know that Aaron Jones isn't. And the last reason, something I've been studying a lot about, and I'm glad we have an excuse to talk about this, is week 17 correlation. Pete Overzet, a guy I've had on the pod a few times now, love the guy. Some of the best content in the biz. He made a great video about week 17 and how, the expected value of winning these things. We're drafting this to win $2 million. We're not trying to advance to the playoffs, get $10 on top of our money and say, yay. The expected value of week 17 is like 40,000 times. He has a great chart. Watch his video. He'll explain week 17 correlation, but the essential thesis of it is get a lineup like in DFS where you game stack something. What game would that be? The Vikings and the Packers face each other in week 17. So all that was to say, if that game blows up, Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson are going back and forth. We have a shootout and it's just like a DFS stack. It gives you a little edge. Like if we're that close on Kamara versus Jones, I can correlate that game real quick and bump up my expected return of week 17. Did ramble make sense?
Yeah, it made sense. I mean, it kind of seems like you're playing chess here and I'm playing checkers. We'll see if it works out that way. We'll see how that goes down. I certainly wasn't aware of the week 17 matchup. You talking about week 17 or week 18 or
week 17? Because that's where the best ball mania championship.
Okay, that's like the Super Bowl.
And of course, you have to make it all the way there. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, but I get it. It's like playing for the playoffs in regular fantasy.
Exactly, playing for that big money win. If you're not going for it,
yeah.
And oh God, come on! I don't want to jinx it here, but you see what I see.
I do see it, and he took him.
Damn it. I fucking jinxed it, clearly.
Are we really going to end up with Josh Allen again? Every time we draft, we get Josh Allen.
We can do that, or we can
Which is like,
James Conner, one of the two. What do you think?
Well, whatever I say, you're going to do the opposite, but I think I would probably go Josh Allen.
It's the fucking theme of the show. Yeah, let's go Josh Allen. Round 3, Josh Allen. We're going to go him every fucking time, aren't we? Like,
probably. I mean,
I don't see a reason not to. Now we might not even have to draft a backup, which there's obviously mixed research about that. But Josh Allen's getting us 400 fucking points from the QB position. Like we're golden.
I think so.
Exactly. When he falls in round 3, it's almost a lock to me. Then you got a great stacks like we always do. Knox, Davis, Singletary. We could Crowder. I love the round 3 Josh Allen.
CJ says with the NBA Finals on ESPN and not with the hilarious TNT crew, this is the best Finals pregame show on earth. Washington.
Yeah.
By the way, I agree. The ESPN halftime group is just horrendous.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I turn it off. I mean, that's where I go out and get more baked.
Yeah, I always have the sound off. I'm usually listening to podcasts anyway.
Yeah,
they're terrible. Also, Gary W. in the building. Good evening, gentlemen. What's up, Gary?
Hey, Gary, one of our classic.
Love the Mario Brothers 2 logo, by the way.
Yeah, let us know if you're.
Why'd you pick that one?
Say hello. Check on in with the boys. Get your questions in. Anything, whether it's about fantasy or my favorite question still remains the best high cereal. Like that was the best question I think we've gotten in the 2 episodes. I
don't know. I think how many snakes is dozens of snakes.
Well, that was your question, not a listener question.
That's true.
That's a great question.
A little self-promotion there. Hey, I saw a hilarious headline today, and it's just, again, I like to sometimes not read the story because I don't want to know any more than I saw in the headline.
Yeah.
And it just says, Florida man mistakes a 7-foot alligator for a dog. Promptly gets bit.
Yeah, seems to make sense. Those
go ahead. You kind of think like he had it coming, right? He probably went up and was like trying to pat this. I mean, first of all, how fucked up do you have to be to mistake a 7-foot alligator for a dog?
Yeah, pretty damn fucked up.
Second of all, this could only happen in Florida.
Yes, exactly.
Third of all, if you get bit because you made that mistake, you deserve to get bit.
You deserved every second of it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. After my rant on correlation, I've never heard of anything more correlated than mistaking an alligator for a dog.
And then getting bit.
Fucking feet. And then getting bit. Yeah, exactly. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. All right, our picks are about to be up, and then
Stupid
maybe we'll
games get bit by an alligator.
Get bit by an alligator. Exactly. Maybe we'll get into some actual running back talk. We might have to just change the title of the episode. What happens when you draft Justin Jefferson first? Maybe that's the title of the episode, because that's what we're rolling with, folks.
Right. Or what do you deserve if you mistake a large alligator for a dog?
Also,
lose a hand.
I'm really pissed that Kamara went one pick before us in round 3.
That's the worst. Is you kind of don't expect to get him. Like, you see that in drafts all the time. It's like, maybe this guy could possibly get back to me. We should take Zeke.
Yep. Continue on. I was going to do that.
It's like, maybe this guy is going to fall to me. There's an outside chance. And then every pick that passes, you expect him to get picked. They don't. And then lo and behold, it's one pick before you and he's there.
Exactly.
And then for the first time, you really start getting like excited.
Exactly.
I might get this guy, and then you don't, and you're so pissed. Would have been fine if you just didn't, like if someone took him 6 picks ago or something.
Such an absolute tease.
Yeah.
Well, truth, we got 10 picks. I'm gonna try to rip. Let's see if I can pull it off. I'm gonna introduce it.
Okay, let's talk about some of the guys that you are stock up on, starting with Cortland Sutton.
Yes. Apparently out of camp, Cecil Lammy tweeting that he is Russell Wilson's favorite. Everybody, he's gone on record of saying this multiple times over the week. And talking about it's the smooth movement after the catch, Sutton showing he's back to himself. I've always said I like Sutton more than Judy, and I always thought Sutton was the more real alpha here. It's already sounding like him and Russ have that chemistry. Russ has had 2 top 20 receivers in back-to-back seasons with the Seahawks with great talent. I love Cortland Sutton. He has gotten a big bump in the rankings.
Well, also big rumors. Oh, are we moving on, or are you still going on Sutton?
I was trying to get it before our picks, but give me the rumors.
I was just going to say Tony Pollard. Who we all like, but who we kind of feel like isn't getting enough. He's in a kind of almost like a committee, and he's the second fiddle in that committee. Supposedly, there's talk of him getting work as a slot receiver.
Yeah, exactly. We keep drafting Zeke. You can see 3 straight drafts if you've watched these episodes of Zeke Elliott in the 4th round. One of my favorite picks you can possibly make, looking fully healthy. Everything's good about Zeke. What would be even better is if they also decide, let's get Tony Pollard on the field with him. Why shouldn't they? With Gallup banged up, they are hurting for pass-catching weapons. Pollard is so damn explosive in space. He would be the perfect slot weapon for this team. And it also would not ding Zeke all that much because he can still do the screens and all that good stuff out of the backfield. This would be a win-win for everybody's value. And certainly if there's ever a draft I don't get Zeke Elliott, which still hasn't happened. Like I take him almost every single draft.
Him and Josh Allen all the time.
The Josh Allen and the Zeke, rounds 3-4, locked in. But if that does happen, we're 1 pick away. So I'm going to go back to that. Then I will certainly get Pollard in any draft at round 8-9.
All right, we're up right now.
And all the guys I queued up are gone. Don't love Dobbins at running back. All the running back fades I have are now currently here.
Yeah.
Oof. Maybe we go. I don't hate Brandon Cooks. He gets peppered. I don't
hate him either. I don't hate him either, but man.
Let's go Cooks. That's just to have something.
Okay.
We need a receiver, and then we can kind of regroup and pick out who we want to go. Like, who would you have gone? Maybe DK instead?
No, I mean, look, talent-wise, DK 100%. But, I mean, it's very, very hard, even for me who loves DK, to really get too excited about him as a fantasy guy this year.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have to be, like, just transcendent performance where, kind of like remember DeAndre Hopkins kind of fell on his face when he had Brock Osweiler. And, I mean, he was the best in the business then. So, I mean.
There was also the season that he was like wide receiver 5 with 4 different shitstorms. So it really was only Osweiler.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, I mean, that was just proof Osweiler was a little worse than those. Remember what did I call it? The carousel of
the carousel of shit or something like that. Yeah, it was something. Carousel from hell.
Yeah, patent pending on that one.
Yeah, they're all coming after it for sure.
No, I really don't hate Cooks. But what's interesting is this is the first time I've drafted with you where I felt like legitimately not excited about the pick. And it's not like I don't see Cooks' upside. I really do. And best ball, I really do think he's a decent pick, but it's just like you get excited about every other pick, and it seemed like we kind of went off a cliff a little bit there.
Well, the last 2 drafts we did Robinson and Davis, and I agree with you. Both of those have way more. I'm excited.
Excited kind of.
It wouldn't have even been a debate. That's kind of why we got stuck, because I was like, one of these 3, like those 2 receivers, or maybe Breece Hall falls. Typically in round 5, that's who I'm looking at, and just to open it up and bam, none of them here. Like Godwin with the injury is real sketch in my opinion. I don't like Josh Jacobs. This was originally going to be a podcast about running backs. Again, we'll change the title and figure out what this is actually about. DJ's tuned in. Figure out what this podcast title should be.
Leave it on.
Yeah, running back preview. The second running back we've talked about through 30 minutes is Josh Jacobs and why I don't like him. We're talking about stock up, stock down. He was going to be one of the major stock downs. Vic Tafur believes a bell cow role for Josh Jacobs is unlikely. In fact, evidence coming out that Josh Jacobs himself has said, I don't want to be a bell cow, and pined for Kenyon Drake to get more work last year. We already know Josh McDaniels does not want a bell cow.
What the hell's that about?
Exactly. He hates fantasy.
Who says that?
He's a bitch. He doesn't want the ball. What NFL player doesn't want the ball and wants to prove himself as the best?
I'm just trying. I mean, you know me. All right. We're on the clock, and then I have something to say about that.
I like Elijah Moore. We've done him in a bunch, but I also do like Elijah Mitchell. I feel like our receivers need more help, and Elijah Mitchell might swing to us in the next round.
Do you like Moore a ton more than Amon? Oh, Amon St. Brown just went. I kind of like him about as much as Moore.
That's a great debate. Honestly, I flip-flop those two all the time. And with Jamison Williams going to be banged up for at least the first start of the year, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I also have more faith in Goff, which is just disturbing. So there's a lot of factors that point to Amon-Ra St. Brown in terms of, like, I don't think his job is going anytime soon until Williams is back. And even then they fill different roles. Whereas Moore and Garrett Wilson are pretty similar, like all layers of the field, very explosive, great talents. But what if this is like Justin Jefferson walks in and just takes over for Thielen, who was the bona fide wide receiver one entering that year? Like, there's just those situations. Jamar Chase and T Higgins, an even better example, right? But these are two lesser talents with a significantly worse quarterback. And that's the biggest issue is Zach Wilson. Is he anything good? No, probably not.
Tom Brady said that Russell Gage, and this is a quote, has to have a big year for the Bucs in 2022. You know I love quotes like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's true. We just talked about Godwin and why I passed on him over Brandon Cooks. There's no real timetable, and most reports have been kind of pessimistic about it. They franchised him, so they have a lot of money going into him. I don't think they're going to rush him. They want him back for the playoffs. Gage is going to fill that slot role, and we've had, 15 years, 20 years? Who knows? How long has Brady been freaking playing? Of his slot weapon just routinely dominating. And, of course, Mike Evans, instant benefit from the absence. He goes around too. Russell Gage is going to slide right in there. He was a top 12 wide receiver for the second half of last year. Actually was one of the most owned players on championship rosters in fantasy leagues last year. He just a nice, smooth, solid receiver that Brady's already connecting with, already vibing with. Like that's all that matters to me is that Brady vibes with you. You're in his circle of trust. Bam, big riser. So yeah, absolutely. Russell Gage, the positive praise from Brady means more than just like your standard little puck piece. Don't you agree?
I do agree. It carries certainly more weight coming from Brady. I mean, also because, Brady's the kingmaker there. He can make, if he wants him to have a great year, unless Gage is just coming in way less of a physical threat than we think he probably is, then Brady can make this guy have a great year. I mean, so of course I take that way more seriously than if Kirk Cousins is like, oh, Russell Gage needs to have a great year. Like I certainly take Brady a lot more seriously than your average guy. We're going to get into something about Saquon Barkley in just a second, but we are the next pick up. So I just wanted to make sure we were sharp and ready to go.
Don't hate Hopkins. I know the suspension blows, but we have 3 receivers already.
Best ball, though. I mean,
it's best ball, and he gets Atlanta in week 17. Speaking of week 17, and I mean, he can still ball.
Let's do it. Let's pick him. You know me. I love the guy.
All right. Sweet. And we'll talk about what. Oh, we had Renfro sitting right there, though. I mean, does that piss you off at all? I love Renfro.
I do love Renfro, and I possibly would have gone Renfro if I'd known he was sitting there. And if we had been a little more on the ball, our queue would have been built up. But we've been talking about other things.
Yeah, let's build up the queue here. I do like Walker. I don't hate Christian Kirk as a potential number 1 there. I don't love him.
You mean fur coat wearing Christian Kirk?
Yeah, seriously, that fucking fur coat wear. Do like making sure we get.
Do you hate Cordero Patterson?
No, I like Cordero.
You passed him, didn't you?
No, I'm putting the star on them, so they're
okay. I thought you missed him on the other list because I like him in best ball.
Oh, absolutely, I like him in all formats. I think he's a great value. We do have Josh Allen, so James Cook could be real interesting. Melvin Gordon provides some good solid value. So, like,
what do you think's the best game Robert Woods is going to have this year?
It's such a gross scheme and offense, and man,
that's what I'm saying.
It feels so nasty. Is he unsexy upside? Because Traylon Burks has just been getting awful reviews. Asthma, talk about spot down.
I think Robert Woods is a really good receiver. I think that, he was undervalued for a while. Then I think possibly got a little overvalued. Then he got injured. And now I really don't know what to think. Like, there's a chance he won't come back physically as good, certainly. And he's playing on Tennessee. But there's also a chance he could come back physically as good or better. I mean, we've seen that plenty of times. And maybe he's just like a, target hog that we're underselling completely. I don't know.
Exactly. He really could magnet like 140 targets this year.
Yeah, what if he gets something like that? Who knows?
And the guy who just went, Traylon Burks, like, yeah, he's the exciting rookie they drafted, but he hasn't made it through practice. They're even saying he's probably not going to be ready for minicamp. What's going on there? And again, you don't want to. I'm asthmatic, so like I understand your struggle, Traylon Burks, but like in seriousness, that you hate to see that already. Like you're a rookie, you're supposed to be the fresh one coming in and dominating and wowing with your ability. And sure, some rookies start slow because they're picking the playbook up, but like physically in shape. And rumors were in workout season he wasn't fully in shape. I don't know whether that's a work ethic thing or it's a health concern, but either one's bad.
Either way, you don't like it.
Either way, not good.
Remember our buddy Fraser McDonald?
Oh, yeah, from Scotland.
Yeah. St. Brown, Gabe Davis, Cordero Patterson all seem to be grouped together in drafts. Who do you take first?
Gabe Davis.
I take Gabe Davis first.
Yeah, Gabe Davis.
Fraser. Come on.
Yeah. Especially when we have Josh Allen starting so much. I'm mad we didn't get either him or Allen Robinson where they went.
Well, I mean, we were a little shocked. This is going to be an interesting team that we're putting together.
All righty. We have Cordero Patterson. We do have our Bills, so like getting Dawson Knox or Singletary. I don't think we have to pull the Knox trigger because there's still 2 tight ends left. I like going either Patterson or Singletary.
I think we go Patterson here, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a few games a year, I think, that he's going to put up some super numbers, right?
Absolutely.
If they use him, right? Who knows? I mean,
it really was a tale of 2 Pattersons. It's a matter of which one do we get. But obviously, if there's they only added a 5th round Tyler Algier. I don't think he's anything special. He's a fantasy darling to some. Damian Pierce was the valued running back in this class, not Tyler Algier. He's meh. So I really think Patterson could be looking at that lead running back role. Just a matter of are they going to use him as the explosive downfield, like creative, move him all around type of running back, or are they just going to jam him up the middle and like fucking awful all last year? So that's the big question, right? I don't know.
No, I agree.
All right.
Decent cue we got here.
Yeah.
Let's talk real quick. Let me hit you with a couple more. Ralph Vacchiano has reported that Saquon Barkley is lining up everywhere, like on all the formations and OTAs. I got to say that doesn't mean anything to me at all.
There goes Knox. But so the only reason you see these reports like, okay, cool. But we've seen literally everyone who's been at Giants practice so far rave about seeing Saquon Barkley moving all over the place, looking as explosive as he did 3 years ago. Him saying, I trust my knee again. We're going to go Devin Singletary, by the way, if it gets to us. You cool with that?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, Knox is already gone. All right. So all these reports continuing to build in succession. He's back to that wow player form. Certainly one of the most explosive. Like you look at all the metrics, the most 40-plus yard receptions among running backs in the last 3 years, the most 40-plus yard runs. So dangerous. If Brian Dibble, who I do really believe in, you've seen the engine that these Bills have been. I think Dibble's instrumental to that, given McDermott's more of a defensive guy. I just think this guy could potentially unlock the Giants. I don't know that Daniel Jones being at quarterback. I'm going to hit Singletary so we can just kind of wrap this rant up. I just think, and the improved line too. First round injection. They signed the guard from the Zietler. They've got just like nice injections around the line. Not a great line yet, but not like the worst in the league like they've been for the last few years. I just think there's a lot of things going Saquon's way. And if you did get 14, 15 games of Saquon Barkley from a couple of years ago, and he's getting used the best way he's ever been, and the offense is more explosive than it's ever been, like that ceiling scenario is top 7 running back, top 5 running back. I mean, he was a top 5 running back. Am I just chasing way too long ago? Maybe. I don't know. You said you have no interest.
I'm not going to say I have no interest in that story. Yes. I'm like in that. I don't have any interest in that story. I would never say I have no interest in Saquon because like I've said, there's always a price tag for someone where I'm willing to take a stab at somebody as, that at least used to be as talented as that guy. Yeah. But no, I don't give a shit that their coach says he's lining up everywhere. What's he going to say? Like, nope, he's lining up in the same spot every time. You're going to know exactly where he's going with the ball every single time.
But that's what
I'll tell you one thing. He's not going to be any mystery. Yeah, they just like, maybe someone did a little bit of like PR research and was like, you know what, we've sounded like idiots for the last few years. Let's try to sound slightly less like idiots. And so maybe this guy's trying to sound slightly less like an idiot. I don't care yet. I don't care. I have to see it. Like
moronic as it sounds, 100%, no disagreement. It's laughably moronic. That's how he was used, laughably moronically.
Yeah, sure.
These last couple of years. So I'm just happy that it's not sheer moron anymore.
We're on the clock.
What do you think of Rashad Penny? Ken Walker's a little banged up right now. He lit it up, and we know there's no return for Carson. I think him or Rondale Moore.
I think I would probably go Penny. I think this is already such a weird. This is the weirdest team we've done yet.
I know, and it just fucking froze on us. This happens every time.
At this point, we might as well take a couple stabs at some random. 4 seconds. 3, 2.
You said
1.
Penny. I'm going to go Penny. I missed my pick.
You were slow on the click.
I know. Damn it.
Garrett Wilson. Oh my God.
I know. I had him in the queue, and I don't know why. We already have Elijah Moore. We don't need 2 Jets.
Oh, the fact that we have 2 Jets is a little more than I can handle right now.
Yeah, you're already sick of this team, huh? Me too.
2 Jets.
But maybe we can revive the team at the end. We'll see.
What if the Jets go like 13-3? We're going to look like geniuses.
Yeah, exactly. We might have to draft Zach Wilson now just to correlate our team as a last round pick.
Just to like complete the fisting.
Yeah. And then like you said, the Jets just put up 40 a game. Zach Wilson's the next like Pat Mahomes. Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson are the next fucking biggest duo in the league.
Here we go. Chris Jason says, gotta grab Zach Wilson for the ultimate Jets stack.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That was definitely not the intention. So who would you have gone? Like if we could go rewind this,
I think we thought Penny was a decent choice, actually.
Yeah, he's still there, so maybe we get him next. I would have liked Rondale Moore as well.
I would have liked literally anybody except the Jets, number 2 or number 3 receiver. Yeah.
So we have
literally anybody.
I'm gonna pull up the draft for you just to see kind of what picks we're dealing with. We have 127 and 138. I'm looking at Crowder probably here.
Only if he gets traded back to the Jets.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We're not interested in any Buffalo.
There
players.
Goes Penny and Moore, 2 guys I liked. I'm hoping to get at least 1 receiver for Josh Allen. We'll go Crowder here as long as he's there. I have Zach Wilson queued up, and that's going to end up refreshing and biting me in the ass. So let me get rid of that. We also don't have a tight end. All right, our pick, Jamison Crowder.
Yeah, that's fine. What do you think about Tyreek Hill talking shit about Pat Mahomes and saying that he was underused? And in a year, he had a career high in receptions last year.
Yeah,
and he's saying he's under like 112 or 120 or something.
He's going to be in for a rude awakening.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, Tua's more accurate than him." Come on, man. You don't need to say that shit.
Exactly. I 100% agree. Like, what's the point of that? What does that accomplish? Petty bullshit. Like, what's the sour grapes between the pair? I don't know, but there is no.
Mahomes said he didn't think there was any.
He was more accurate than fucking Mahomes, the generational fucking talent. Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one, I just queued up a name and not.
McKinnon got re-signed to a 1-year deal. So
exactly, and it should be less news than it is, but all the CEH truthers out there. We were obviously for a year. I got right off that train. Clearly, was a horrible express, and I'm apologizing. If you followed us that year, you probably are not following us anymore anyway. So I guess
right.
It doesn't matter. But this does matter because McKinnon in the playoffs, the last 2 games together, McKinnon out-carries CEH 22-13, out-targets him 11-4, out-snaps him 107-36. Yes, CEH was coming off an injury. That obviously had a fact. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. I understand that. But McKinnon was the most dangerous back there by a mile once he got going. He was averaging over 16 PPR points per game down that stretch. He doubled CEH's touches, as we said, over the postseason. And is Clyde good? We still don't have an answer that would say yes. Like maybe. There's reports that he was, 160 pounds and he was really sick and lost a ton of weight. That could all come into fruition, and maybe he will be. Brian Westbrook was a late bloomer under Andy Reid. Like, there is a case for CEH, but it certainly just took a major hit with Jerick McKinnon returning, and I absolutely love targeting Jerick McKinnon. He's at 205 ADP. I'll make sure to get him a couple rounds earlier because I think he's going to go down as he's going to jump up in ADP probably 4 rounds by the end of the summer, and if not, one of the best value picks. I love McKinnon's price, and I will not be drafting CEH in 2021.
So you said that anybody that was watching us when we recommended CEH so high probably isn't watching us anymore. All right, take your pick and then we'll talk.
I'll go Freiermuth because we don't have a tight end, and I love the Freiermuth.
Yes, you do love the Freiermuth. All right,
Sweet.
so here's my devil's advocate comment here. You say anybody that was watching when we were recommending CEH probably is not watching anymore. Well, I've been with RSJ since the beginning. And I can remember when we recommended Ajayi and Mckinnon extremely high, maybe more than once, actually.
We've been burned by this man.
Right. I mean, so I feel like there should be a warning label on this, pick. Now, granted, we're talking about taking him in a later round situation as a value pick, which I get. There was a time that, he was a legit second round recommendation of ours.
Oh yeah. But thankfully that one, like if you were doing these types of drafts and these didn't exist back then, so thankfully I was not burning money on fire with Ajayi and Mckinnon early in the offseason. He did get hurt like very early in the preseason. It kind of became apparent he wasn't going to be a thing before drafts really started hitting.
Well, I can tell you that in the Roto Street Journal draft, we must have drafted before because I took him with my second pick. So let's not gaslight and say that nobody got burned.
Right. I'm glad it was you then, Truth.
Yeah, I know, right? I figured that would be your slant.
It is funny that you have that like visceral gut reaction because I remember texting CJ like McKinnon's back, baby, or something stupid. And like obviously half joking, but as a late round pick, I'm not actually.
Yeah, no, I get the value pick.
You might think I'm a moron for continuing to
go
back
I don't. I just thought it would be, since we're talking about guys that have really let us down that we were high on, I feel obligated, like just, morally, to mention that Ajayi and Mckinnon also belongs in that category. Now we're not talking about picking him early, so it's fine.
Right. Yeah.
But come on. He made us look bad.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we weren't smart about Ajayi and Mckinnon, but he's a good. I think he when used the right way, and I think he was used the right way. Finally, he can be a player. He really can. All right, so we got our tight end. Let's just see who's on the board here. I don't love Ronald Jones, especially now with McKinnon there. Like no interest. I don't hate Alberto, the Broncos tight end.
Oh man, I don't like him.
Hunter Henry. Do we get another like a backup tight end? Do we complete the Jets
trifecta? Oh God!
Jameis, Jameis. I like Alberto or Hunter Henry. Pick one, and I'll click whichever one.
I would pick Hunter Henry, personally.
Got him.
Alberto's another guy that's just like, we've been interested in before. Now, he never had Russell Wilson.
No, well, exactly. He never been the number one, never had Russell Wilson.
Right. So, okay, there's that angle.
Yeah.
There's that angle where you say like, oh, well, this piece and everything had never lined up perfectly for him. And then there's the other way, which I guess is like the glass half full way to look at stuff. Then the other way you look at it is just like, I've taken a stab at this guy 3 different years. And he's fucking let me down every time. And am I going to keep chasing this? That's the other way of looking at it, is like, how many times are you going to go for this guy after he's burned you? Even though he's in a better situation now.
I agree. I know. But we don't. It's not like we've been burned that many times, Alberto. Like,
a couple times.
No. We never even really recommended Alberto until like.
I remember. Listen, I've hosted hundreds and hundreds of podcasts with you, and I remember you singing his praises like several times.
No way. He's new to one. He's only been in the league like 3 years.
I know.
He's been behind Noah Fant, and I've never the only time we've ever recommended him is a waiver wire pickup.
God, I wish we had a crack, editing whatever team that could track.
Yeah, Taylor, go find me.
Go look through the last 300 podcasts. That
find the fucking backstage footage.
Find like the 2 times that the Wolf mentioned Alberto and see how high he was on it.
Me just fucking unzipping Alberto's pants and just
getting down. It's not quite an unzip.
Please find the footage that we can play back for the audience. These sick fucks want to watch it, I'm sure. Let me get on in there. Oh, God.
CJ says, I think you guys are forgetting Rojo rushing for 1,500 in KC this year.
Oh, yeah, please. He's become so obsolete because, like, CH would probably get early down work. this is why I actually hate CEH, because maybe Ronald Jones, if he's going to come into any value, he ends up being like the goal line hammer. We've seen CEH get his lunch fucking stuffed up his own ass at the goal line every single time he tries to get a goal line carry. We can probably think that maybe Ronald Jones gets the first crack. So now you got CEH losing receptions to McKinnon, losing fucking Ronald Jones's goal line TDs potentially, just all the money touches. No, thank you, CEH. I really like Kenny Gainwell for our pick here on a show about running backs. Do you like him or no? Not at all.
Yeah, I like him. All right.
He had like 4 to 5 20-point weeks last year. It was more than Miles Sanders. This regime brought have the more explosive offense. Miles Sanders always gets hurt, and like, what if Gainwell just wins about? Like, there's a non-zero chance that this staff just isn't committed to Sanders. They certainly didn't seem it that way, and definitely not at the goal line stripe. So whether it's injury, whether it's just another step forward from Gainwell, we know the Eagles' offense is taking a leap forward, and they already were solid last year. Gainwell's somebody I've been getting higher and higher, and has that lemon slut. I never even told you what strain I was on. The lemon haze settles in, the nice fog kind of covers my face. I think that Kenny Gainwell is an absolute beautiful, what round are we in? Like 13, 14? Round 15, 14 pick. Beautiful running back upside there. Like, we'll get a couple 20-point weeks from the lineup, and there's upside. He might be an every week starter in our lineup. Yeah. Are you sold? Did I give you the good?
You sold. But I liked him anyway.
That's good. Okay. So
instead of this podcast being the running back show, we should just call it Jet Stack.
Yeah, the exact. Yeah, there you go, CJ. You want some buzzy clicks? You want the traffic? And by the way, we are up to over 2,000 again. Truth, love to see it. Lost a few people, but I think
I'll bet we just lost bots probably.
Exactly, maybe some bots. Maybe they first saw the big best ball and like, oh, hey, I don't like these weed smokers, and they left. But then you get the people that see that and they're like, hey, I kind of like these guys, and they sub. Those are the people you want around for a big best ball show, because you know you're bringing in the right people. I'll lose 5 to bring in 2 if it's like the 2 friggin' top shits like Gary W. hanging out with us.
I don't know if CJ would agree with the lose 5 to get 2 business.
Yeah, that's true. It's all about loyalty. Give me what's the article? 1,000 real fans versus 100,000 fake ones. I don't know.
Right. Respect us.
Something of that nature. There's a whole business theory about how like you get $100 out of the 1,000 true fans. You've made 100,000. Like, that's an easier sell than trying to get $5 out of like 20,000 or something like that. So
yeah, I'm sure
the whole business line.
Right.
I do like Gus, even though they're talking about bringing him along slowly. He was a recent follower along with Dobbins. Love Wandale, the Giant Jets and Giants, baby.
If you're gonna do it in this draft, because this is such a fucked up draft. If you want to lean into those 2 teams, I already feel like we're far gone.
I do like Kendrick Bourne a lot, but what do you think, Kendrick Bourne?
Yeah, sure. I'm indifferent between these guys.
Yeah. Alrighty. So here's some names: Gus, Jarek. I really like Jerick McKinnon, and I have a feeling he might start go sooner than later. There goes our Zach Wilson stack. Truth, we missed a huge opportunity. Here's the names I queued up. You tell me which ones you like or don't like.
Okay. Gary W says we're sleeping on J.D. McKissic, by the way.
But McKinnon's the sexier one. That is he likely to be far less useful? Yes, but it's like the Family Guy one, the mystery box or the boat. Like, you could have J.D. McKissic, who is going to catch 80 receptions, or you could have McKinnon, who might be the Chiefs' featured third down pass catcher. Give me the baby all day. It's so stupid when you say it out loud, but that's how it goes.
Yeah,
it's true, Gary. He's truly useful. J.D. McKissic is highly usable at this point. But the mystery box.
Hey, have you ever seen somebody on Facebook? Have you ever seen people declare themselves safe after a hurricane or something like that? Okay. So and so declares themselves safe. One time I saw it was there was a kind of heavy rainstorm somewhere, and this person I knew that was there was declared themselves safe, and it's no one was wondering if you were safe.
Thank God I can finally.
We all just it was a pretty hard downpour for 45 minutes.
The earth lets its collective sigh, sigh of relief. Oh,
thank God!
Thank God you are safe.
Right? It's Anyway, sorry. That just came up.
I do like the idea of McKissick, but I also like McKinnon. Truth. Thoughts? Maybe we go for McKinnon next round?
You think Will you can Fuller? Get him? I mean, you've blown serious smoke up this guy's ass this episode. We can appease Gary W. Let's pick McKissick.
He's a loyal fan, and it's a smart play. Like, you need
it's a smart play, and we've already got a jet stack, so we're just kind of throwing caution to the wing.
The awful teams, the football team or the Commanders, whatever the hell they are these days. Let's hope for McKinnon on the way back, though.
Okay, I'm hoping. I'm genuinely hoping.
Because this is like a build. Some interesting, a really good video I watched recently on Underdog is on the actual Underdog Fantasy channel. Love the hosts, Hayden Winks and Josh Norris. They do a great job. And they had like a real nitty gritty strategy. And I'm going to read the article. I do better when I'm reading that instead of listening to that. I'm listening to the card. So I can't wait to read the article and kind of really absorb the main points. But one of them, it's so intuitive. But like some people go in with like, I have to have 9 receivers because that had the 21st advanced rate. But then they did a really good job looking at, well, if you took 3 receivers to start your draft, what's actually the ideal composition? And it was like 6 receivers because obviously you want your top 3. We got our guy McKinnon. Let's fucking do it.
We did get our guy McKinnon.
Back to the OG RSJ days. McKinnon gonna win us a milli.
Who was the first RSJ guy that we were all over? I don't mean that we were right about. I don't mean the one we were most correct about. Who was the first Roto Street Journal darling?
That's David Johnson. Remember, we were like all in. It was the year where everybody was clamoring. If you don't take a first-round receiver, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
And we were like, David Johnson had just had that insane 3-game stretch, heroic playoff performances. And thankfully, it won me a title in one league. So you realize the power of this guy. And
Right.
he was following like the end of round 1. And it was like, Bruce Arians gave the guy the keys, and once Arians does that, he kind of just lets him go. We saw it with Lenny Fournette this year.
Yeah.
And he gave him the keys from day one. The offense took a nice step forward as a whole. And he was a monster. Remember that season? Like,
yeah, I do. I wonder if that is the first guy.
We had him at number 2 overall, and he was a projected first round. He was going at like 11 or 12. But we were like, after Antonio Brown, the only guy to consider is David Johnson. And realistically, he should have been number 1 on that. Looks like we're drafting against Keenan Allen, by the way. That's cool.
That's awesome, man. I wonder if he's stacked up on Chargers.
No, so but I did want to make sure to finish this point because I thought it was a great one from Hayden because it applies to our team now, Truth. Before we go back onto that tangent, I like that one. Is you look at this. We got Jefferson first, anchor receiver. Like, he's going to be in your lineup every fucking week. So our need at receiver is clearly not as big as what it might be. Then we went Josh Allen, so now that thins out our running backs even more. Going Jones and Zeke, like I love those 2 at the top, but me and you are typically running back. We're talking about running back strategy. I almost always go RB. That was the ideal build. It's our draft pick here. I like Foreman a lot.
Me too. I actually do too.
All right, let's do it. Our receivers, our receivers are kind of gross.
Yeah, they are.
That's our last pick too. We're going to be real. We don't even have a backup QB. But that's what I like about
that's
Josh.
What the lemon haze will do to you.
That's what the lemon haze when the cloud settles over your face.
By the way, CJ says DJ, Ajayi, and McKinnon. Those were the first 3 that I could think of too.
Ajayi was a really bad one.
Remember he had like 2 or 3 big games. Like where he ran for 200 yards 2 weeks in a row or something like that.
Like only OJ Simpson had done it too.
Right. And then we were like, okay, here we go. And then he just like never did it again.
To put a bow on my point that must be horrendous because we keep getting off of it somehow, is when you have like his point was like, yes, maybe the ideal receivers was 8 in a draft, but if you took 3 receivers to start your draft and now you have these beastlies, and let me just pull up the draft here so we can just kind of keep that.
Gary W giving us an LMAO, not even a backup QB.
Yeah.
We deserve that, Gary.
I get my highest advanced team last year had only Mahomes. And I think it was a mistake like this at first. And I was like, fuck, I ruined a team I really loved otherwise. It was the team that went the farthest and had a real shot to win like $100,000. It didn't, obviously, but I had a shot. So that's what it all comes down to, right? But if you go when you get more granular, let's say you start with 3 receivers and that's going to be your ideal team, you should only have 6 by the end of your draft. Like teams that started receiver, the highest advance rate was if they only had 6 receivers. And it makes so much more sense. But people go in with like, I have to get 9 or I have to get 8. And
you're right. That's a great point, especially as it pertains to receivers. That's a really excellent point. I don't think that excuses the team that we've put together. I think that
my least favorite we drafted by a mile.
Oh yeah, me too.
So let's look at it. Before we wrap up. I have a minute and then I got to go. You know the deal. And if there's any questions, like pull them up while we go. But what would you have done differently? You prefer Eckler to Jefferson. I'm going to stand strong with Jefferson there. I love what he's going to do this year, and I just know how receivers fly in Underdog. Aaron Jones, I think better than Swift. The only other guy I was considering was Kamara, and we almost got him in the next round. You agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Josh Allen, we both loved. The only other guy I would have considered is James Conner, and you don't love Conner. I love
he's so injury prone. I mean, I love the situation, but I don't know.
He's such a monster without Chase Edmonds last year. So, I mean, he could be an absolute banger in round 3.
Yep.
I do love Zeke. You still on the Zeke train with me?
Yeah.
So so far, is there anybody you're like, I really wish we didn't do? Like Jefferson.
I didn't love Jefferson, but it's not like.
But then look at what I received. Okay, so
it's not like I considered that a terrible pick. I wouldn't have done it. But as I said to you in real time when we were doing the draft, it was the 5th pick where I felt like we fell off a cliff a little bit
with Cooks. Yeah, I mean Cooks was,
and I like Cooks again. It's just I wasn't like excited, and then I was almost excited for no more picks until maybe McKinnon in the last round.
Yeah. So like over Cooks. Okay, who do you go? We see Mahomes, Dobbins, Metcalf, Kyler, Jalen Hurts. Like we already went QB, so obviously none of the QBs.
This is the point. We looked through like 12 or 15 people, and Cooks was the one we liked the best. I agree with you on that pick. It just seems like there were a lot of people that disappeared that hadn't disappeared for us in past drafts.
And what it really was, truth, was Allen Robinson and Gabe Davis. Like we kept just loading up on fucking those two, and as we will continue to do if they're there. But it does. Cooks is just a kind of punch to the gut compared to those two, in my opinion.
Right. Well, I guess that's my point. And I feel like we never really recovered. And the thing kind of like fell off the cart fell off the tracks. Well, you drafted Moore, who I don't love. But whatever. Then we drafted Hopkins, and there was someone we actually thought maybe Renfro would have been a better pick. Then next thing you know, we're kind of like a boxer. We're up against the ropes taking punches, and all of a sudden we draft another Jets receiver. And at that point, it's like, we're reeling from the punishment.
True.
Right. So that's all I'm saying. Who knows? Maybe we could get lucky. By the way, just an interesting little comment here. CJ, Wolf's top 12 2016 running backs: DJ, Zeke, Gurley, Lamar Miller, AP, Freeman, Charles, Shady, Ingram, Eddie Lacy, and Martin. Eddie Lacy.
Wow. I wonder if that was like buffet Eddie Lacy. Classic throwback. Good find, CJ. Well played.
Yeah, nice. See, this is the kind of live research we need.
Yeah.
On the
show.
show.
I do agree. I kind of like from here. I do like that is good stuff. I'm just sitting here chuckling about that.
Lamar Miller was your RB4.
Remember that year where he like went to Houston and was going to get – we got to just do this on a show where we just like look at old shit and just crack up at like our earliest content and predictions. I wish we had it like the old form it was too, like our old logo and shit. Oh, man, CJ can dig that up. He's like the grave digger over there. He's got all that stuff. Yeah. I hate the – which picks I hate? We got auto-drafted Garrett Wilson. I was not a fan of that.
Hate it.
Hated that one, especially already having Elijah Moore. If you get one Jets blow up, okay, but you're not getting 2. So I would have really liked Rondale Moore or Rashad Penny there.
Or Rashad Penny, who we're going to draft.
Yeah, I would have said either of those two. In our team build, I would have preferred Rondale just because we have less receivers than running backs, and I thought some good running backs in Gainwell, McKissick, McKinnon, Foreman. Like that's a good late. I love the late round running backs.
Okay, I like the good late
a good blend of upside usability and just like stash ability with Foreman. I like Bourne. I love Gainwell where we got him. I like both of our tight ends. Like Crowder, we always take right here. So it really comes down to the Jets receivers. You can't have more than one and feel okay about yourself.
It's like a rock in my shoe. It's like a rock in my shoe, Wolf.
Yeah. And like it would have been sexier to have Davis or Robinson, but we got Cooks.
Yeah, it would have been sexier. That's for sure.
Other than that, I really don't see a whole lot wrong. 2 Jets receivers is a big wrong to have. But other than that, I really don't mind anything we did. And I think we got to wrap up, Truth.
All right, we can wrap it up.
What are your thoughts? You give your last thoughts on the team.
I mean, you summed it up pretty well. Like, I think I summed it up already. We reached in round 5. We got who we both agree was probably the best player there, but we had some other guys taken. And I think at that point we got a little punchy and, just started reeling. We made a kind of a miscalculation in a couple places, auto drafted a player. Next thing you know, we were kind of like, we're like, 3 a.m. at the poker table and we're on tilt.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
It could end up being a decent team. It's my third favorite of the 3 that we've done together.
Yeah. Oh,
but if you do 3, one's got to be your third favorite, right? It's like you got 3 kids. You got 3 kids. Obviously, one of them's the one you like the least.
I really liked our teams too. The first 2. We'll go back and show you guys those to start next episode. We'll maybe just show off our 3 teams. I think a good piece of feedback that what might be better is if we do the stock up, stock down before we start to draft and just like get a segment out of the way. Then we hit enter draft and kind of get into the free flow. Cause I think it's a good segment. It's a good thing to start each draft with is like, here's some guys that have risen and fallen before we draft. Now let's hit the
people
draft.
Want less mistaking an alligator for a dog comments. Is that what you're telling me?
No. I want more of that. But I think after we've given like people come to tune in and they see 5 good minutes of like football analysis, but like high idiots.
All right, well, I'm all for that, but we can't be getting in a situation where we're starting the show and the draft's already started then.
Exactly.
By the way, Gary W, the truth with a solid analysis of the drafted team. Well done. Thank you, Gary.
I like that. Absolutely. RSA Rewind. We had to do that for sure. Get some of us in with you. Wait to start 5 minutes. I can't really control how, like, we hit enter draft and bam, it was like we were the last one in, Gary. But yeah, that'd be so fun if you retro G. I remember you commented, I'd love to draft with you. Get the mean streets together, Gary. That'd be a blast.
You got to be high though.
Oh yeah, I think Gary fits the bill there.
Yeah, I figured he could do it.
Well, cheers, Truth. This was another good draft, another fun time.
Go Celtics.
And the thing we should have promoted right from the top, if you liked this draft and you want to join Underdog and you haven't already, code RSJ will get you a $100 match. And you can also click the link in the description here if that makes it easier for you. So do check that out if you haven't already. It does help you boys out if you use that kickback for us. And of course it helps you because you get $100 on top of whatever you deposit. So, well, if you deposit $100, 100% match is the key here, up to $100. So
up to $100. All right.
Yeah, sweet. Cool. Make sure to promote that at the beginning because I always forget.
All right.
It's been playing under there the whole time, so maybe you guys saw it. And if you're watching this, you're probably already on Underdog. But if not, please consider it.
Get on it.
It's a great time. Every time we do this, it's always fun. Like this is, I always look forward to this. I'm glad we were able to squeeze it in. All righty, I'm getting the death stairs. I gotta leave.
Sorry, Hills.
Go Celtics, baby.